Hey y'all, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for another Tuesday Tally. I'm going to do this a little bit differently this week. There's not a whole lot that has changed in the garden in the last week. There has been some significant growth on a couple things, but not a whole lot has changed. And quite honestly, I'm a little bit pressed for time today. So I'm going to move through this pretty quickly, let you guys know, you know, briefly what's going on. You'll see some things in passing, but there's a couple of blooms that I want to show you that we've talked about a couple times. So let me go ahead and jump right into it. Of course, since I'm here, the tomatoes are the tomatoes. Now, these guys are doing pretty good considering that they're growing in the garage and not getting a whole lot of direct sun. You can see some of them are starting to lean over. I've got to get my tomato supports in and put them up. I don't have enough for all of these, so I've got to order some more. But I'm going to get to those. The potatoes, of course, are still potatoing. I'm going to move right along and I'll show you here these guys that we started the squash and beans in these grow bags in the back. You see these guys are all ready to get out of this corner. And the okra is doing pretty good. The peppers that I dropped into this container are getting pretty tall. I always need to do some trimming, so we don't need to spend any time talking about that. Oh, look, we've got a bloom on the American Beauty Berry. The caladiums are coming back. The daylilies are super happy now that it has started to warm up consistently. We don't have a whole lot of cool nights. It's only getting down into maybe the mid 60s at night. So these guys are much happier. The Swiss chard on this side is growing leaps and bounds now. A couple of those corns have germinated down in the bottom. Have they all come up? Nope, just 4, 5. So we'll see what's going to happen with those. Looks like it's time to give a little bit of a feed on the beans. But man, look at those collards down there. Let me see if I can lift this up. I don't want to unzip it. I don't really have the time to do all that today. But look at those collards. You guys remember when I put these things in, they were probably only about 2 inches tall. They're looking really, really good. It's time for a spin. But that probably will not happen today. Let me just walk around the other side here and see. And I want to show you Caribbean Breeze is blooming. This is of course, the first person through the garden gets all the spider webs. So don't mind me if I stumble over my words or make some not very entertaining yelps. Caribbean Breeze is blooming. Now this rose has been in for a couple years and it really struggled in this spot. I think it was just too wet for it. Now it's settled in a bit and we've got another bud over here. So I think it's finally going to start to perform. This is True Friendship and they were planted at the same time. I ordered both of these from Jackson Perkins several years back and I put them in, and True Friendship has always done its thing. Now we keep getting a few berries ripening here and I'm getting birds who have discovered the strawberries and they're not letting me get my strawberries anymore. So I guess I just planted strawberries for the birds. We will come up with another solution for next year for our own enjoyment. This green stalk is performing very, very nicely. Without taking the screen off, you guys can see very clearly here what's going on. The flowers are doing well. They're not staying too wet. We've got a kale here that has done very well. The strawberries that are in here will probably be my best chance for getting a couple berries to eat, but I'm okay with what's going on in here. It's going to be nice to get a few later beans. Now I have started harvesting beans. You guys did see in another video, I did a second harvest on the beans in the front yesterday, and I have filled up 2 of my quart bags of beans just in those 2 harvests. The celery still doing good. I don't plan to eat any more of this celery because like I said last week, it has started to go bitter, and I'm not really interested in eating bitter celery, but I think the plant is gorgeous. So I'm just leaving it there. I'll cut it back eventually. The dill is, I would say, about 3.5 feet tall. Maybe just about 3 feet tall, because it hasn't quite gotten to the top of the bottom of the window yet. So that window is 3 feet off the ground, so about 3 feet. It's looking pretty good. We've got peas here that decided they wanted to crawl along the floor of the bed instead of going up the trellis, and I think you can see these peas. Hold on 1 second, let's see if I can get them to focus. Yeah, we've got some peas growing in here, so I mean, I'm not going to snatch it out. I'm going to just let it do what it wants to do. Now, I do have a obelisk that I could pop in here to kind of force these guys to go up, but I wasn't really looking to have these peas in this bed for much longer, so I think I'll just let them sprawl all over the place and do whatever they want to do. The mustards are pushing more leaves after I've harvested those. That's always good. And then we also have some carrots that are still doing well in this bed. I've got the ornamental sweet potato vine coming all the way over here. You guys know this needs to be trained up the trellis. I'll have to get to that, or this thing is going to just take over this whole space. There was another rose that was blooming. I wanted to show it to you, but I think it has already dropped. Nope, it's still over there. Let me go around and show it to you. I think I have finally discovered what has been causing my toe pain. Let's look at the salvia before we go around, though. The tropical sage is gorgeous. I've been trying to figure out why my toe was in so much pain, and I have not had on my garden boots in a while, but now that I have them on walking around in the wet, it's my boots that's doing it, because my toe was fine this morning until I put these boots on. Check out that bloom. Now, I don't know which rose this is. I did have a tag and I've not seen it in a while, so I think it has permanently gone missing. But that rose is gorgeous. To be able to catch them just before they open up is what I try to do. But the irises, guys, the irises have opened. Isn't that a gorgeous bloom? And I have so many of them this year. There's one that hasn't quite opened up yet, but look at that bloom. That right there is why I garden. It is so exciting to me to see all the different flowers open up and how they're so intricate in their design. I've even got a couple of iris blooms on this little one in the back here. So I am impressed. Oh, we've got some gardenias about to open up here. I could smell it as I was approaching it, but they aren't fully open yet, so it's a really, really faint smell. But I do have quite a few buds. There's one. There's one. There's a little one coming in here. There's another one. There's one that's a little bit closer to opening up. There's two more pretty close to opening up. But this is wonderful because I really thought I was going to lose this gardenia. I need to get out here and hit it with some more fertilizer. The verbenas are still doing great. The super petunias are still doing great. The foxgloves are still holding on. I mean, they aren't that impressive anymore. They're not pushing really, really tall stalks, but still providing something for my pollinators. The Thryallis is very, very happy this spring. It is spreading out, and I'm going to have to come in here and do a little bit of pruning on it. The red maple is still leafing out. The birds are excited this morning. I'm sure you guys can hear them. I don't know if you guys can see those spider webs through the camera. I can see them, but I don't know how they're coming through on screen. But these spiders they're having the time of their life because they're getting all the extra little buggies that are flying around. The firebush down here is actually coming into its own this year. I believe this is is this year 3? This may be year 3 for this firebush. If not, it's about 2.5 years old. So we're getting to that 3rd year pretty good here. Some of the zinnias in the back here are opening up. They are not getting quite as much sun as they like, so we're not going to get very impressive blooms on those. The grapevines are filling out. I'm hoping that this grapevine will throw some leaves on the trellis behind. You guys will probably remember last year it did a really, really good job of leafing out along this trellis behind here. But I got some grapevine skeletonizers that came in and ate every single leaf down. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that vine in the back. The cucumber is coming up nice. Very nice. Seems like it's going to grab onto the trellis and join in with the grapes and keep going. And I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't see any fruit yet, but I do have lots of flowers and lots of buds. So I expect fruit soon. We've got a couple of these tiny fruits here on the Valencia orange that are starting to swell. I know this thing is not going to mature all of this fruit. There's no way that it'll be able to support it. So I'll come in and I'll take quite a bit of it off. Cabbage is still doing okay, actually, surprisingly. I did have to prop it up, but it's doing okay. I'm about to fall over here. The squashes are still throwing lots of flowers. Let's see if my fruit is drying up or if it's still... It looks like my fruit is actually still doing okay. I don't know if you can see it. Fruit is still doing okay down here. They aren't dropping. So I do have a couple that are getting pretty... Oh, I wish I could get in here. Let me see. I can see some pretty nice size on a couple. There's one there. There's one here where the flower hasn't fallen off yet. And then there's another one down there. And this one is yellowfin. Yellowfin seems to be outpacing Smooth Criminal at this point now. Smooth Criminal actually started fruiting first, but there are two fruits on it. The one with the flower, there is a small fruit there. And then there's the one here that is doing well. But Yellowfin has now put on some extra growth in the last couple days and is outpacing it. On this side, we have, oh, I don't know, where's the tag? This one is Spineless Perfection, and it does not look good at all. I don't know that this plant is going to produce anything, although it does have buds. If you look right down in there, it does have buds, so I don't know. And then this one, I want to say this one is a patty pan squash, but I don't see the tag. Oh, there it is. No, this one is Cocozelle. So it's a striped, it's not this leaf, it's that plant there. It's a striped zucchini type squash. My bean towers here, looks like I lost a few of my beans again. I may or may not come in and reseed. This variety is just not performing for me. This is the Dragon Tongue. I've never grown Dragon Tongue before, and I probably won't grow them anymore after I use up that entire pack of seeds. They don't germinate well for me, and then when they do, the plants kind of die off. So we'll see what happens with those. This one is Golden Butter Wax Bean. So those are doing a little bit better. Not going into the greenhouse. The greenhouse is pretty much a mess, although I do have some kohlrabi growing in there. It had not started to bulb yet, so I'm not going to waste my time going in there showing you guys that stuff. I'll check on them later on this week, and if there's any update, I'll do a short. I did do some harvesting of the bunching onions for dinner the other day, so some of them look like they've been chopped off. That's why. They were quite tasty. I need to do a little bit of trimming here, or this sweet potato vine is going to take over. Let's see how our passion vine is doing. Not bad. It's leafing. Those kohlrabis in there are not looking good, so I'm glad I didn't go in there. We'll see what happens with those. It is getting quite warm, so anything like that is a stretch if I get anything out of it. The Tabasco peppers are in flower again, and if you look close, it's loaded with fruit. So I'll need to start harvesting these guys in the next couple days. They'll start to ripen. We have been using quite a bit of those. The trumpet vine, after I cut it down again, is ready to start being trained, and I'm going to try my best to keep this thing contained to the trellis and keep it in order. Don't hold me to it, because I probably will fail, because that thing grows faster than you can imagine. I harvested a lot of the Swiss chard the other day. It took about 3 pounds in the house. Shared some with my neighbor, and I made a dish with half of what I kept. And I still have some in the refrigerator. I probably need to go ahead and use it, or go ahead and give it to the guinea pigs, because it's not going to keep for much longer. Swiss chard is not a vegetable that you can hold on to for weeks and weeks and weeks. But I do have quite a bit of new growth coming in since harvest time, and I'm looking forward to getting a few more harvests off of this Swiss chard, as well as the ones that were transplanted in the back. We've got a couple of collards here that are still doing good underneath the dome, and the garlics here. The necks are starting to soften. on the larger ones. So we may be getting some garlic pretty soon. We may be getting some garlic soon. We will see. These are struggling. I probably need to pick this pot up and move it out into some more direct sun. Amongst the weeds, we got a desert rose that's about to bloom. We've got a couple carrots that are still left in here. I will probably harvest those in the next couple days. We've been eating quite a few carrots, so I've gotten to a point where I like to just eat whatever's available in the garden, eat seasonally, and it works out pretty good for us. I don't have to store a whole lot of stuff, but I don't have to go to the store looking for produce. I harvested most of the peppers here off of this plant. I don't know if I left any. I think I took them all and cooked them. We do have some flowers back here. And I don't know what this pepper is. Let's see. I think I've got a... That is definitely not a grand bell. I don't know what that is, but that's not the right tag for that. I hope it's a sweet pepper and not a hot. We do have some grand bells in the back here that are producing. So we'll be getting a few more peppers here soon. Got a couple beans that we dropped in here. I got mosquitoes flying around trying to tag me, and I don't want to play their game. Got a couple of bells that are still forming down here on this plant. I think I only took about 2 off of this one. But the peppers are doing really good. Got something different going on over here. These are looking nice, but lots of peppers coming. Looks like we've got some strawberries forming here in this bed. Take a look at the red curry squash. It is enjoying its life. Let's do a check to see if we have any fruit set yet. We've been getting lots of male flowers. And any of you guys that grow squash, you know, the male flowers come first. I don't see any fruit yet. Honestly, don't see any female flowers yet at all. Just a bunch of male flowers down here. But male flowers are better than no flowers, because that means females are soon on the way. So we have now made our way over to the second bed here. Uh-oh, look at that. We found a female flower. Let's see if I can get you down here without tearing up my leaves. You see it? There it is. We got a female flower. We're going to get some squash. If I can just keep the squash vine borers at bay. Here's another female flower. So we just very well might get a harvest of squash from the winter squash. The onions and the garlics that are in here seem to be doing okay. The onions are doing exceptionally well. These guys are, I mean, this is up to the middle of my thigh. Doing very good. So I'm going to just let those guys go ahead and grow. I hope I can get some good bulbs out of those. They were all started from sets, not from seed. I've got a couple lettuce and some celery hanging out here. I don't know why the weeds love to jump into the pots. Oh no, we got love bugs. Let's see if I can show you the love bug. They're underneath the leaf. They don't want to be seen today. They got under there just in time. I couldn't show them to you. Those guys love to make a mess of our cars. We've got some of the cactus blooming. And we've got more desert roses blooming. We've got Rio Samba continuing to bloom. The potatoes look great. This little patch of potatoes just looks awesome. Now the red potatoes that I planted, that I told you guys, I don't even know where they came from. I think my mom dropped them off at my house. I put them in there. They've not done anything yet, so I'm not very hopeful for anything coming out of there. The evolvulus is starting to bloom again. I love those pretty blue blooms. And I need to come in and do a little bit of trimming on the mums. But they continue to bloom, so I'm good with that. This kale is getting a little bit tough. I may or may not take it and eat it. If I do, it'll be for something like a soup. We've been doing some vinegar spray for the pinto beans because they are getting some viral spotting going on. But we are producing beans and we are swelling nicely. There are not as many pintos in the back as there are up front because they don't get as much sun. But we've got some beans in there. And then some we're losing just because we've got to spray them. No big deal. If I lose them, I won't cry about it. I got enough beans going on. But that is it. My Tuesday tally for the week is rather short. I do like it. I wish I could get the Tuesday tally down to 25, 26 minutes every week. But there's usually so much more going on in the garden that you guys haven't seen. And I want to make sure that I show it all to you. Hopefully by the time I do the next Tuesday tally, I will have the tomatoes all trellised. And maybe I'll have taken a few new potatoes by then. I don't know how patient I'm going to be in letting these potatoes completely mature. I'm anxious. I want some really, really badly. These potatoes look awesome this year. Last year, you guys saw the flop that my potato harvest was. Although we did still eat them, they were good. It was enough for a side dish with the meal, but definitely was not a major harvest. They were all, I don't know, no bigger than, little round potato, but they were still good. So I'm looking forward to the potatoes that I've planted this year. And I'm planning for next year's potato harvest already. I'm going to add a few different varieties and see what we can get out of those. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I am going to run and try to get quite a few things done. I've got a few errands that I need to run, and I've got some proposals that I need to get out to some potential clients. I will see you guys soon. Bye.